Hi, everybody. This is Moses Ross, president of the Multnomah Neighborhood Association, and you are attending our July summer hot evening meeting. I appreciate everyone that came into and did this in person with us. Thank you for being here. It is nice and cool, fortunately, here at Rivers Gate. And I hope it's very cool wherever you are at because it's been a scorcher today. So stay cool and we'll get through our work here and we'll go onward and upward. The agenda has been put into the meeting, into the public folder for the meeting. Is there any new business to add to the agenda?
President.
Pardon me? Go ahead, Tad.
Approval of the minutes is not on the agenda.
Thank you. I'll put that on there and I'll do that next. Let's see here. So if there's no, I'll add that to the agenda and we'll do it next. Is there any other new business for the agenda?
Well, this is Will for the Equity Committee. We had a motion on the agenda to adopt a statement of land acknowledgement, but after talking it over, it seemed to be there was some question about what it should be looking like. So we withdrew the motion at this point as premature, but we are continuing the process of making a contacts with Native American community in the area, and we'll bring a revised land acknowledgement and the whole process of land acknowledgement sometime later.
Very good. We'll note that under new business.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, the agenda is been adopted or has been adapted and as far as the minutes, are there any corrections to the minutes for the June meeting that need to be changed? I placed the June meeting minutes, thanks to our awesome secretary, Will did put them in the meeting folder for this meeting.
Mr. President?
Yes, I know we sent in the, regarding the Portland Street response, we sent in an amendment, I'm sorry, a correction to the motion.
Oh, very good. You're talking about the motion, the Portland Street response motion that we voted on last month?
Yes, and that was, I already mailed in, I think to you and the secretary, an edit to that.
Okay, very good. If the ones that I posted did not have that edit, I'll make sure to replace them with the edited version.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other corrections to the June meeting minutes?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Go ahead, please.
Under officer and committee reports, the Budget and Finance Committee report was presented by somebody else. I don't remember who, but not me.
Okay, very good. That probably was, I'm assuming that was Peter Sampson. So Julie's typing as we speak, so we'll make sure to add that. Is there anything else on that there, Tad?
One other thing, a question. Are the board members present and absent not available for the June meeting minutes?
I wasn't there, and it wasn't this. Identifying the attending board members is a great idea. It's never been formalized, and I wasn't in attendance. If anybody wants to tell me who attended virtually, I mean, I know that it was just Moses in person, but if somebody wants to review the video and tell me who was there, I'm happy to update the June meeting minutes with those attendees.
Julie, I sent you the list of who was at the meeting in a spreadsheet, but we can talk about it.
Okay, I'm going to add that to the to-do list and work with you, Will.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Julie. Are there any other corrections to the minutes that we need to take into account? Okay, hearing none, the minutes were approved as corrected. Now, so let's go to the first thing we have on our agenda. We have at 7:05, we're a couple minutes ahead, but I noticed that Lee Armstrong with Habitat for Humanity is here. Hi, Lee. Thank you for being here tonight.
Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Sure can.
All right. Now let's see if I can get my camera working.
Meeting in July that is maintain their own. As you do now as information is obtained, we are updating our calendar to include events for all
Ah, there it is.
There you are. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. Well, as everyone knows, or you will know, Lee Armstrong is the construction project manager for Habitat for Humanity's project over there at the Portland Bible Church property. And she's here to give us an update on what's going on. So Lee, what's going on?
Just a super fast update. We are about to start demolishing the parking lot and moving some utilities around for the church. After we finish that, we will start removing dirt from the site. We're removing about 22,000 cubic yards of dirt from the site. And if you have a hard time envisioning how much that is, a typical dump truck carries about 14 cubic yards. So it's a lot. It's a lot of dirt. Those trucks are going to be coming and going on Capitol Hill Road through the entrance to the site there. There are some people who have been parking there. I don't know if anybody who parks there is on this call, but if you keep parking there, we're going to put a sticker on your car and then we're going to have you towed. So if you are parking there, please don't. I don't want to have to tow anybody's car. We've left some notes on the cars and haven't gotten any response, and the cars are still there, which is a little distressing. Work hours are typically going to be 7 a.m. to probably 4 p.m. The rules in Portland are 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., but typically people don't really want to work that late. If there's anybody here who doesn't have my contact info, I'm going to put it in the chat. And Moses also has it. You can feel free to email me. Make sure I spelled that right. Yep. Or this is my mobile number. You will have the most success if you text me, because I don't answer calls from numbers from people I don't know. But I will answer your texts. If you run into any issues with anything once the construction starts, or if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to shoot me an email or a text and I will get back to you. Right now, it looks like the demolition and what we call mass grading, which is the removal of huge amounts of dirt from the site, is going to last until probably the end of September. Then we'll start putting in utilities on the site: the water, the stormwater, the sanitary sewer, the electrical poles. Start building the roads, and after that, we will start building houses. Questions?
This is Will Fuller.
Hi.
Hi, just wanted to ask, how many people will be in the development when it's fully occupied?
So we're building 52 homes. Those homes have somewhere between 2 and 5 bedrooms, but they're mostly in the 3 to 4 bedroom range. So there could be anywhere from, call it 200 to 350 people living there once all the homes are complete and sold. It sort of depends on the applicants that we get. They tend to be families, and sometimes if they have 2 children who are the same sex and close in age, they share a bedroom. Otherwise, it's 1 child per bedroom. So there's a little bit of wiggle room in there in terms of how many people we'll end up with.
I see a couple people's hands up, but I also know that Julie in front of me had a question, and then I'll come to Robin and then Peter.
This is awesome. Just for the first time noticed that there's another habitat site off of Taylor's Ferry on the other side of 5 Freeway.
Also my
Like,
project.
seriously?
Yeah.
You're busy.
I
Is
am.
it looks tinier in scope. I don't want to say
That
tiny, but
is 17 detached homes.
all right. Well done. Thanks.
Very good. Robin? You're muted, Robin.
Yes, I know I'm doing it. Just are there going to be any volunteer opportunities once you start actually building?
There are volunteer opportunities will start once we start framing homes. So right now it looks like that's going to be spring of next year.
Very good. Peter?
Lee, as a geologist early in my career, I'm just wondering where all that dirt's going.
It goes to a dump site for people who take in dirt and then they turn around and resell it to somebody who needs dirt. One of the things we try to do, but we're not always in a good position to do it, is take dirt from one of our sites to another. So, for example, that site on Taylor's Ferry Road exported something like 17,000 yards of dirt, and about 12 of those went to one of my projects down in Lake Oswego.
Great. Thank
Wow.
you.
Very good.
Beth
Kelly?
here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, here, and I have one, Beth, I have Kelly in front of you, and then I'll come to you next, okay? Go ahead.
Fine. Thank you.
Go ahead,
Hi.
Kelly.
Yeah, hi there. And this is Kelly Peterson. I'm just a resident here in Multnomah Village. And I was wondering, in terms of when you said, the dirt will be removed, and I'm so familiar with this area. I spend a lot of time there. And I think I missed this. I'm just curious of that whole area. When are all those trees coming down, and how does that work in terms of?
So let me put something on the screen
stages.
for you, actually, because I think it might make it easier.
Yeah, and I want to say I so appreciate, I have another organization, Fences for Fido. So we do a lot of work with families. We build fences for families who have outdoor dogs. And I just was curious about this because I know that's a significant project. And when we talk about, wildlife and everything, I was just curious around the timing for that.
Right.
Oh, pardon me for interrupting, Lee. Let me, Will, could you please share with Lee, co-host, so that she can share her screen? I think she wanted to show a document to us.
You shouldn't have to be a co-host. She should be able to share her screen. Anyone.
Share.
Let me make.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I don't
Here,
seem to
now you
have
do.
the share button right
Now
now.
you do. Now you do. You should have. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so like most civil engineering plans, this is there's a lot of stuff on here. But so right now we've got this environmental conservation zone that runs along the entire eastern side of the property. I assume that's what you mean when you're talking about all the trees.
That is. Yeah.
Okay. So, let me see if I can. So instead of building an entire sort of fully developed sidewalk along this side of the property, we are building a trail through the middle of this environmental conservation zone. It's an 8 to 10 foot wide trail. We're going to be taking down, I think, 47 trees in here. Those are going to start not until we have a public works permit. Without boring you all with the details about how you get a public works permit in the city of Portland, I will tell you that at the Taylor's Ferry project, it took me almost 2 years to get one. Right now, we are what the city calls 60% through the public works process, and it has taken us about a year to get there. So I expect we won't have that permit fully approved and signed off for about another year, which means that that's when these trees in this area will start to come down to build that path. Similarly, these trees up here, I don't know, can you guys see my pointer?
Yes.
Okay, these trees up here, which will have to come down for us to build the new public road. Again, we won't take any of those trees down until we have a public works permit. The trees that we are going to start taking down immediately are the ones that are planted in the medians in the parking lot. So all those trees and bushes are going to come down pretty much first thing. Did that answer your question?
That did, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, Beth, go ahead.
Oh, this is just a little slightly off-topic comment. My environmental geology professor is rolling over in his grave every time someone says dirt instead of soil. It was the first sentence he said when taking his class. We don't call it dirt, we call it soil. He was a soil professor. So
well, he would have
anyway,
had to flunk me and every excavator who ever worked in the United States.
I agree with you.
I want to, before I see Shelby has her hand up, but before I get to your question, Shelby, let me point out a couple questions in the chat here, and then we're going to need to wrap up in the next few minutes.
Okay, I see the questions in the chat. Vertical construction, framing is supposed to start next spring. So it could be February or it could be May. It really depends on how things go over the winter, because the wetter it is, the slower we work, basically. What are the cross streets? So you can't really see it here. This parcel is on Capitol Hill Road, and it is north of Nevada Court. It's not the entirety of the church's property along Capitol Hill Road north of Nevada Court. It's just the, I think it's 4.9 or 4.8 acres at the northernmost corner of the church's property. I'm trying to, let me bring up Portland maps. That might be nice. And the answer to the last question is, are there any entry exit roads off of Nevada Court? No.
Repeat the location of your other project that was mentioned.
Taylor's Ferry Road and Southwest 25th.
Ah, very good. Okay. Are there any other questions for Lee? You know, it's a here, wait a minute, let me do this real quick. There we go. No, it's an interesting project. You know, obviously you don't like it when we don't like it in the neighborhood when trees come down, but I see how your approach makes sense. I mean, I see why you have to do it. The plans pretty much show that. But
we try in general to cut down as few trees as possible while still, building houses.
Amen. And
will any new trees be planted, Lee?
We will be planting. Let me share this part of the screen again. Go back to it. There it is. You guys are going to hear entirely too much about environmental conservation zones. So this environmental conservation zone has running along its western border a 25-foot what's called a transition zone, where currently there's no trees in that zone yet. You can sort of see it here where it says transition area. Currently there's no trees in that transition area. What we're going to be doing is expanding that transition area out to the limits of where the buildings and roads are, and then planting a bunch of new trees in that transition area to increase the canopy on the eastern edge of the site.
Nice, thank you.
I believe there's a couple hundred new trees going in, all told.
You know, we don't like it when trees come down, but we sure like it when people get housed.
Yeah.
Very good. Will, go ahead. You have your hand up.
Quick question. I know that Habitat for Humanity typically has the new residents of a building participate in the finished construction of the building. I don't know how that works in a big complex like this. Will there be opportunities for the new owners to, or residents to take part in building it?
So the concept that you're referring to is something called sweat equity. It used to be when Habitat, like a Habitat in Portland built somewhere between 2 and 10 houses a year, that you could have each new homeowner work on their home. But when we're building, 80, 100, 150 houses a year, it becomes much more unwieldy. It also, as much as we love having volunteers work on homes, it's much slower. We can build a lot more houses if we're using the professional trades to do it. So we've expanded the definition of sweat equity to be pretty much any kind of volunteering with Habitat. So a lot of our future home buyers do work on site, but a lot of them also do things like volunteer in the restore, or they volunteer to do some kind of office work, or they do some other kind of volunteering that we give them credit for.
Cool, thank you.
And there was one last question in the chat.
So these are, let me put this back on the screen because you can kind of see. This is not really the best plan for it, but you can kind of see this. So these buildings range from anywhere from 1 unit. This is our single 1 unit, single story, ADA compliant house here, to, I think the biggest one we've got here is 4 units. So this one's 3, these are 4, here's 2, 4, 4, 4. So they range anywhere from 1 to 4 units per building. Some of them are single story. Those are typically the ADA compliant ones. Some of them are 2-story. The ones that are 2-story have surface parking out front, and some of them are 3 stories. The 3-story ones have tuck under garages so that people can park off the street.
Interesting. One final question for you, Lee. The application process for being one of those homeowners, is that already started? Or
for this project, no, it has not started. Typically, we don't start the application process until we are about to start vertical construction. At that point, we start taking applications, because once we start vertical construction, we have a really good idea of when the houses are going to be finished. Up until that point, there's still too many things that could cause delays, and we don't want people to apply and get approved and then have to wait 2 years to move into their house because, I don't know, we had a pandemic or something like that.
Good point. Good point. Okay, well, fantastic. Well, seeing that there are no other questions, I'm just appreciative of you taking some time on this hot day. I hope you're staying cool.
Yeah, hiding in my basement. Happy to do it.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to schedule you in a few more months down the line as we get closer to the end of the year, and you can give us an update as well. Then.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Lee, very much. Okay, so let's see here. That was, let me bring this back over here, bring up my agenda. Okay, so next up is 45 minutes of officer and committee reports. I want to use my time to just give my thanks to some of my officer, Beth Lemansky. She has recently decided to take on the District 4 Coalition representative work, and she'll be giving a report on the developments there. And we do have public safety is open, and if you have an interest in participating as a public safety chair, I am accepting applications or letters of interest to be that chair.
Moses' system froze for some reason.
Moses and Julie must be at Rivers Gate
Yeah,
system.
Rivergate as a whole froze. So hang on, they come, Rivergate comes back. Oop. Moses is coming back, but there's no picture so far. Where'd he go? Looks like communications at church may be a little flaky today.
We know what Moses looks like. It's okay.
Well, except he can't say anything, apparently. Here you are, Moses. Still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. No, we just had a little bit of an internet outage here. I'm sure a power box blew somewhere. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. Beth, did you get to say something, Beth? You gave your report? Yes.
Which
That's what-
report?
Oh,
President,
any
you mean?
report.
Oh,
I,
well, I
we
can
went
report
offline.
on land use. I can report on District 4. Which would you like me to do first?
Actually, neither of them at the moment. I just wanted to make sure, as vice president, you got your chance to have a report time.
No, but
And-
I do want to thank you very much for your nice remarks regarding Public Safety Committee, and I hope that people will step forward and get involved in that. I know public safety is an important topic in our neighborhood, so it'd be really good for us to have a working committee again.
Agreed. Thank you, Beth. All right. Next up, Secretary Julie Lee. What's going on?
Nothing to report.
Oh, Julie, I love your efficiency. And last but not least, Peter, our interim / permanent treasurer. Who's on mute?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. This report will be a combination of the Finance Committee report and the Treasurer's report. And the Finance Committee did post a report last week, and not much has changed from that. One thing we will all get used to, I think, is that financial reports are always a little bit behind times, because typically you're closing an accounting period a week or two or even more before the meeting where the report is given. I did want to show you a new document, and this is, are people seeing now an M&A statement of activity?
Yes.
It looks
There
like
it is.
it's being shared.
Yes, we see it.
Okay. So this is a report now of, I've been working on this for about 2 months, I think, since we first acquired QuickBooks, and I have learned to use it. This is the first of 2 financial reports that generally comprise a conventional financial statement of the health of an organization. The first is called a statement of financial position, and that's what we own and what we owe. The second, and this report is a statement of financial activity. And this is what we have earned and what we have spent. When people first, when we're trying to get people to understand the difference between these two reports, you can think of a statement of financial position as a snapshot in time at a given moment. And the statement of financial activity is a video of activity over a certain period. I ran this report because it was the first one that we have compiled. It goes back all the way to our inception as a nonprofit, a 501c3. So I started January 1st and ran through last Sunday when I was first able to produce a report like this. So July 7th, a little more than 18 months. What I'm asking people to do, especially committee chairs and project managers, is if they would go into the meeting minutes, meeting materials, and just look this over at your leisure and let me know whether these line items make sense for your project, whether anything is missing, whether anything looks out of whack. There are some tweaks that I still need to make. And I think that any treasurer needs to make with after any financial report. There are a couple things that I'm really pleased to see. I was pleased to finally get a handle on the grants that we have brought in over the last year. Well, let me just describe the layout of this report briefly. Everything in green is community events. And you can see the individual projects that we've been tracking individually, and then a roll up for the whole community events committee. Transportation had one event last year of a transportation forum. Everything else gets attributed to general operating expenses, income and expenses, and then a total for the whole organization. A couple of things that I was pleased to see is the grants we brought in, and to also see how we're doing with individual donations. Because I'm hoping that over time, I mean, we'll always rely on grants, but I'm hoping over time that we get better, more polished, more confident about asking people to help us accomplish our mission. And so I was pleased to see almost $2,800 came in donations over that period. It was about 15% of our income. There are a couple of big numbers that I feel I should describe. This grants that are in red, $4,850, is a grant that Julie got from Metro for dumpster days. And this is what accountants call restricted funds. In other words, hands off that money for anybody else. Julie gets to spend that all on her dumpster days project. The other big number is 2541 here under Spring Garden. It is attributed to the wrong line item. I can see that now. This is money that's still being held by Sweeney, and created by an organization called the Friends of Spring Garden Park, now defunct, but the funds were always restricted to for the purpose of improving Spring Garden Park. Eventually that money would come over, but right now it's still in limbo. We have access to it, but Sweeney has not released it to us yet. So that's kind of an accounting oddity in a document like this. Hey, I see Corinne on the line here, and maybe I can just ask her a quick question. Do we also have a Venmo account with a balance in it?
We do have a Venmo account. The balance, we just received a few donations today. Give me about 10 seconds here and I'll give you a Venmo update. It's new for us. We added Venmo to our PayPal nonprofit account so that we can receive Venmo via donations via Venmo as well. And our balance is $59.26.
If I may real quick, Corinne, if I may real quick, can you put the links to that to our donation page in the chat for everyone online?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. So updated numbers for us are with those two big numbers of the Metro grant and the funds still held by Sweeney. If we subtract that from our funds in the bank, which is about now $9,400, we've got about $2,000 still that we can access for projects other than community events and general operations. My next up will be I'll produce a statement of financial position. That's sometimes called a balance sheet, what we own and what we owe. And then I'm going to start working on a budget for the rest of M&A for the balance of this year. And I've already been in touch with most committee chairs and project managers who are going to do special projects or events. We'll be setting up separate budgets for them, and we'll roll them all into a big budget for all of M&A. And I look forward to sharing that information with you too. Please take a moment to look over this report and let me know if it makes sense to you. Send me any questions. And there is the treasurer's report.
Very, very good.
If I may say
Bill,
something.
Beth,
Moses?
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Beth, and then Bill Southworth.
Okay. At the last Sweeney board meeting, they said that they would appreciate getting requests from us to release that spring garden money to us. So if you could do that, that would be awesome.
Great. I think Tad Davis is the person authorized to do that on our behalf. Is that your understanding, Tad?
Oh, it was. I don't know if it's changed or not, but I'm happy to take that on.
If you could look into that, that'd be great.
That'd be really cool if you could, Tad. Thank you, especially because I thought we were really close to submitting it all for what they needed over there to transfer it. So
Yeah, I think it's just a
I have
form
your
that
signature.
it's just a form to fill out, right?
Right, and it's been filled out. Moses has signed it. I haven't submitted it yet because I'm waiting for a statement from Carol, the former president of the Friends of Spring Garden Committee.
Great.
Can we send it without that signature?
He asked for that statement.
right, I remember. Okay, Bill, go ahead.
If we
with your
can,
question, sir.
if we can nail that down, we'll invite you back on the board, Tad. Just kidding.
Don't we have a motion to put him back on from the governance
I thought we
committee?
did, yeah, but that's other business, I think.
Right. So that's handled already.
Yeah. Okay. Up next. Oh, did you want to ask your question, Bill?
Yeah.
Go for
So,
it.
Peter, I'm quite impressed with what you've done.
Thank you, Bill.
Well done.
I gotta confess that it's been kind of fun to learn how to use QuickBooks. And
Well,
I
you
don't
have
know.
a way of taking things like that and making them fun, like that map you made of Multnomah Village. I still have it on my desk.
Oh, that's very kind. Well, they say that kind of thing is good for the aging brain, and
Yes.
that's what I got. I got
So
one of them.
And I do have a question. So I heard
Yeah.
the word used by someone else about contributions, I think, or words to that effect. Where does our money come from? Our, as in quotes, money come from? Because we're not
Well, if you
paying anything per month or anything like that.
I see Corinne nodding, but if you look at this document, the statement of activity, you'll see all the line items that for our income. Businesses have made donations. Grants we talked about, individuals have made donations, and I don't have a report of how many donations and what the average is. I know how to make that report. We have a category that we're calling neighbor services fees. This is cleanup fees that to graffiti and trash removal. That businesses or individuals are paying us for, and those are the main categories.
Okay.
And then we
You
do
know,
have expenses as well, Bill. Like we pay for our website, our Zoom account. We have to pay a filing fee. We had to pay to become a 501c3. We pay for our post office. So we do have about $1,000 in expenses annually that we have to cover. And we used to get those reimbursed by the community activities funds, which came out of I'm forgetting the
Civic Life.
committee, Civic Life,
Civic
thank
Life.
you. But Civic Life is no longer doing that. And so it's something that we're going to have to come up with on our own, is having at least $1,000 in operating cash to keep us afloat as an organization. So there are expenses. We do have stuff
Where would
we have
that
to pay
come
for.
Where would that
It's-
come from?
Donations.
Taxpayer money.
Yeah, let's put it this way, folks. We're having a capital campaign here soon. I see Will's hand up, and then I have a question from Julie, and then we should move on.
I will quickly lower my hand, but I want to make one comment about the treasurer's report. It's one thing for the treasurer to have fun with the financials. It's quite another for the treasurer to make it fun for the general public. And I admire how you've been doing that, Peter. So that's great. Keep it up.
Thank you, Will.
We are facing a shrinking income flow. When we were with Sweeney, they paid a few $1,000s of things like room rentals and copying and so on that we no longer have. Then Civic Life took it over. We had about 700 a year, and more or less depending on where the budget was. That's no longer there. The new District 4 coalition has an incredibly meager budget on its own just to get its work done. So we are much more dependent on, Moses talking about a capital campaign, we are dependent on ourselves to raise the money necessary to not only the things we want to do like special projects, but just to keep the doors open and the lights on. So it's a serious financial crunch.
Yeah, and I understand that District 4 will be assisting neighborhoods with some expenses, but it won't be to the same level that the community activity funds coming out of Civic Life were. And it's why I keep encouraging people to think about ways to put on little fundraising activities, and I'm really pleased that people are responding to that. So,
Julie,
thank
go
you,
ahead
everyone.
with yours.
Hey, Bill, my question to you is, what should we be doing to raise money? What are your thoughts? What are your ideas? What have you seen work?
That was Julie kind of, who are you asking?
Bill.
Oh, Bill Southworth?
Yeah.
Bill, what should we be doing to raise money?
I'm not sure. I mean, I didn't have any ideas. I was curious as to where it came from, where the money was coming from to pay for expenses. And
yeah,
I think it's something that
We
maybe
beg, borrow, and steal. As a matter of fact, well, not the steal part. We are going to be doing, we are about to do a couple of new income generating things. Peter and I and the livability subcommittee are going to be recycling all of the cans and bottles at Multnomah Days, which have always been put in the trash. So we're doing things not only for livability, but to pay the rent. During the dumpster day event that's going to be public on August 24th will be, it's free, but we're going to be recommending a $25 donation for each car, and the max is 80 cars. So we're doing what we can, but anybody who has any ideas on how we can do services for the neighborhood as well as generate revenue to keep the doors open, please reach out to anybody in the M&A and give us your ideas. We're very open to ideas.
I have a bunch of ideas that I will eventually write up and share with people. I spent the last 25 or 30 years as a fundraiser, and but I've a lot of treasurer's work to do before that.
One thing I can say, and to just wrap up this conversation, one of the things that I can encourage all 15 people online and everybody in front of me here at the meeting is to consider doing a monthly reoccurring donation to the M&A. It can be as simple as $5 a month. That adds up to $60 a year. You can do $10 a month. That's $120 a year. You know, it's kind of like the OPB, the Oregon Public Broadcasting pitch. It's the idea that a small amount, if we do it, if we get enough people doing those reoccurring donations, it really starts to add up each month. And so, Peter has hit me up already on that one and I plan to do that as soon as we get done with this meeting. I need to do this by tomorrow if I'm going to be talking about doing it, because I got to lead by example here. So
I'll remind
I do
you.
want, well, I mean, if we're able to, after tonight, get even 5 people, 5 of us that are here talking tonight, to do a $10 a month donation, that's 50 a month. That's 600 a year. That's almost our basic nut,
Yep.
that, and our nut, according to Corinne, is about $1,000 a year, and so it can create a nice little stable foundation for us. And so that's one of the things that I want to do. And I know that Peter's got chock full of ideas, and we're going to be doing these over the next few years as we strengthen the foundation of the neighborhood association financially. So good stuff. That's a really intense report. I can't believe you did that.
Thank you.
It's
Well,
really good.
I took way more than my allotted time, but thank you for listening, everyone.
Right on.
Thank
All
you
right,
for
let's
your
get,
work.
yeah,
Using PayPal,
You're welcome.
but excuse
PayPal.
me.
Yeah, go ahead, Beth.
Can we use to contribute? Like, where should we be doing these contributions?
Corinne, can you do me a big favor and send an email to Beth with the PayPal link that you put in the chat?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
also
thank you so much.
linked on our website, on our homepage as well. But Beth, I'll send you an email
Oh,
right
okay,
now.
great. I'll find it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
And I noticed that Kelly just rose her hand. Go ahead, Kelly.
I did. Hi. I was wondering, around the holidays when, I think Multnomah Village Business Association hosts, like a holiday event. Is that kind of owned by them? Is there a way that could be dovetailed to do like a fundraiser around that? I've just always thought about something like, even, I'm not sure, like a movie, like a holiday movie with popcorn, just something that would dovetail with what they do that would then contribute to the neighborhood association. I think folks, I've been here for now 16 years. I would get, just as a citizen, I got confused. I kind of thought it was a neighborhood association, but it was the business association. So just something like that. I had that question.
Yeah. Kelly, do you mind if I jump in here? And I know
Yeah,
Moses, we got to move on time, but
okay.
In the last few years, we've done a lot of partnering with the business association, which is kind of a new relationship or a refound relationship. And we do what we can to support their events. And I think now with this Village Park opportunity, there might be opportunity to do something else in the holidays to help offload their work for putting on this great event for the community, as they're all business owners doing this on a busy time of the year. But I would love to get in touch with you, Kelly, offline to see if there's something that we could brainstorm together and see if there's something we can come up with for the holidays. Because I think we have, with a new relationship and building a relationship with the business association and more capabilities with the M&A, I think we can come up with something.
I would love to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. The fact
Invite
that
me to that meeting.
No, the fact that Kelly and Corinne have connected tonight is a huge win for me, I feel, because Kelly, you're a powerhouse, and Corinne, you're awesome. I know that we can come up with a good game plan for what you're talking about, Kelly, a fundraiser, and we can maybe, let's integrate some of our dog, fences for Fido, something like that. We're nonprofits. I'm just brain dumping here now, but there's so much opportunity. Yeah. And to be able to give back to the community as well. So, okay, well, good.
I wrote me in too.
Thank you, Kelly. Bill, I see your hand up. Oh, you're muted, sir. Can't hear you. Sir.
Muted.
Bill, we can't hear you.
Take your idea, Moses, that you had said something once a month. I'd be more than happy to put in, at least $10 a month. That's $120 right there.
Yes, sir.
And if we just had that, if we just spread that around, I think we
Thanks, Bill.
take care of that.
I think it's a really good idea. We might have to send out an email to the field, to everyone. We just have it. hey, we've got a budget now. At least we know where we're going, or where we're at, I should say, where we're at.
Yeah.
The fundraising is where we're going,
Yeah.
and that's what that will pay for.
Good
This
way
is
to
only
think
to
of it.
help, this is only to help Peter out so he can start adding more figures to the,
More
income.
zeros at the end. Yeah.
Zeros, right.
Thanks,
All
Phil.
right. Let's get going here, folks. I want to get you all out of here. It's 7:53 right now. Let's get into our committee reports. Corinne and Pam, you're up.
I'll go ahead and chime in. I think Pam is around, but busy with family. I'm going to keep this super brief. We have a really hefty report that Pam wrote up for the community events, and I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see what we have going on. And then I'm also going to share, let's see. Oh, good. There's Pam. Pam's around. Okay. I'm going to share the report. I'm not going to read it verbatim, but I'm at least going to share it on the screen so people can see what we have going on. And I'm just going to bullet point each project. So the first project on our community events committee report is the Village Park project, which I touched on briefly when talking with Kelly about fundraising opportunities. It's the corner lot on 36th and Troy, right next to Healthy Pets Northwest. And the business, or the owner of that lot, has given us permission to do some landscaping of it and turn it into somewhat of a park space for the community to gather. There's already been 2 musical events in June and July 1st Fridays. We're trying to work on a landscaping plan so that we can turn into a more functional park space with some hardscaping and some native plants. We're working with Stormwater Stars and Watershed, Westside Watershed. Southwest Trails has also participated in helping us out. And then, of course, the Business Association. So it's a really cool project with 5 big nonprofits coming together to try to build something really neat for the community. The plan is to have some work parties, hopefully still this summer, with some workshops with Westside Watershed and Stormwater Stars to do some native plant and watershed education, and then some work parties. We're probably going to do something for Multnomah Days on the lot, continue with music on First Fridays, and then possibly doing something with the lower section of the lot to turn it into a space that a food truck could come in from time to time. So it's a pretty big project. It's all going to be based on, what did Leah say earlier? Sweat equity. Is that what it was? We're going to need a lot of volunteer hours and a lot of fundraising dollars. We're still waiting on a plan, so we know how much we need to fundraise. But I think with something like what Kelly said about something with the holidays, we'll have this new space where we can, community can gather and use it. But we're still figuring out kind of like the rules and around how to use the space and make sure it's being used fairly and safely. So that's still being worked out. But it's a really cool project and a great collaboration with, like I said, multiple nonprofits. Does anybody have any questions on that before I move on to the next things that we have on our list? Okay. Next, MVBA liaison. So again, kind of what Kelly was talking about, partnership between the Business Association and the M&A. We're trying to share the load and collaborate on different big events in the community, like their Earth Day celebration, and then also Multnomah Days. So we're supporting in Multnomah Days where we can. We're going to share the load with the booth. We'll have an event at Village Park. District 4 Coalition will share some space with us at the booth as well. And then we're also supporting the parade committee, which is headed by Dana Ward, who brought the parade back last year, and then partnering with the Business Association on how we can support that. So that's really exciting that we're bringing that back to the community. And then again, partnering with the Business Association. The 36th and Canby Street mural project. If you guys remember, we did a street art project that was a grant project that was funded through Civic Life. And we put a street mural on the corner of 36th and Canby, which was really cool community building experience. We did a maintenance meeting a few weeks ago with about 4 or 5 of us. We reviewed the space, checked in on the quality of the paint, and have determined that we'll do a touch-up event the following year, probably in the same time frame in June. And so we'll have another, probably not as big of an event, but a touch-up event where we'll need fundraising and community support to do that as well. Spring Garden Park stewardship has really taken off. They have events multiple times a month to Peters Point, the money coming in from Sweeney is still pending, but it'll be exciting to have that money on hand to continue the work at Spring Garden Park. The next volunteer event is coming up on July 16th. So you can sign up for that. And then the most recent event, they did lots of removal of weeds and thistles at the north end of the park, and I've had about 10 volunteers, including families and children as well. So it's a pretty fun project that's been going on year round. The next big thing that we have coming up, Pam has spearheaded the neighborhood garage sale day. It's coming up on July 21st, and I'm going to share this map. Let me make sure you guys can see. Can you see my Google Maps
Corinne,
screen? Did it
use the
toggle
one
over?
from the website, not the one from the meeting folder, because it's the most up to date.
Got it. So not the actual Google Map one. Can you guys see my
Oh,
Google
the Google Map
screen?
is up to date. The printable version on the website is up to date, but the one in the M&A meeting folder is not up to date.
Okay, so are you guys seeing my Google Map screen, or is it still on the agenda?
Agenda.
Okay, let me move it over to Google Map. Thank you. Pam, do you want to talk about garage sale day since you're on?
Sure.
Is the map up now? I just want to make sure it's up.
Yes, this is the
Cool.
map.
Okay.
For a couple months now, could you zoom into the actual neighborhood a little bit and we can see?
Yeah.
You can see for a couple months, we've been taking registrations for individually hosted garage sales around the Multnomah neighborhood. So neighbors are invited to join the list here by adding their sale. We suggest the time to be from 9 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, but because each sale is hosted individually, they can choose different hours if they want to. So you can see over on the left-hand side, the time and the location from for each sale is shown. And this is the Google Map, so it's digital and it's live. You can use it on your phone. You can kind of make a route to navigate around. Not everybody uses this particular type of map. And so we also have a PDF document, which is on the website, which is an easier printable version. So you can print that out if you want to and like carry it around with you. And it's 2 pages long. On the first page, you see what we're looking at now. And then on the second page, it gives you the list of addresses. And what else should I say, Corinne? It seems wildly popular.
How many signups do we have now?
72. Registration is closed. So it closed yesterday, and that's what allowed me to generate the final version of the map to kind of put out and distribute in time for next weekend, because what we've learned is that a lot of people who are serious about garage sales this upcoming weekend, they will be planning their garage sailing for the following weekend. Mm-hmm. So we were told, try to get this stuff up before this weekend.
And the way that Pam has structured this event is set us up to do it hopefully annually, with this being the first go around. And if other neighborhoods have done this really well, but it being another fundraising avenue for the M&A, where we would have suggested donation amounts for houses signing up to do a garage sale, and hopefully continue to do it on an annual basis. You'll see signs around the neighborhood that Pam has put up in the neighborhood, and then also in front of some of the houses that will be holding garage sales.
And we have started getting donations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is
the
exciting.
request for those donations just went out today, so that's why that started today.
Pam, this is Julie. One thing I'd like to say as it relates to being a community service, I'm on 30th Ave and I would never do a garage sale because I don't want to encourage people to slow down right in between, 26th and Multnomah. And this is finally, after 14 years, giving me an opportunity to be able to safely have, be part of a garage sale and get rid of my stuff. So thank you.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought about that. Thanks for mentioning.
Pam, do you want to share about Block Party Initiative and the other few things that are on our agenda? Kind of like a bullet pointed list so we can move through since we're so far behind on time.
The Block Party thing, this is kind of minor. It's just a little side project we have going. This is a Google group kind of email list thing that spawned out of our May Block Party info session that our committee hosted. So we invited whoever wanted to come from all over the city, anybody who's interested in planning a block party or similar community event, to just kind of go over the basics and then talk with some other folks who have done it before. And we had about 15 people sign up for that. And at the end of that session, those folks wanted to be able to stay in contact with each other by sharing emails. So we have this list, which now has extended to more people, including a bunch of folks from District 2, and it's kind of getting shared around, and we're meeting other planners, which is really cool. So that will be ongoing, and we might think about hosting an info session for closing streets for car-free trick-or-treating, maybe in the early fall or something like that. We'll feel that out. Let's see.
Maybe on net?
Multnomah Net. So I do have one question. I was wondering, since Jane is no longer a board member, if the neighborhood emergency team had a main contact with the MNA. And if not, I recently have been working with Tom a little bit on some stuff, and I offered for him to send us their monthly public meeting announcements so that we can reshare them on our website and in the Multnomah Messenger. So I think that we're set up for Tom to be sending that stuff to community events, and they are not having meetings in the summer, it sounds like, but we expect for that to restart in September.
Okay.
Cool. Let's see. Speaking of the Spring Garden Park money that from Sweeney, we've included in our draft community events budget just kind of a forecast for how we propose to spend that money once it's available. We don't expect to spend any of it in 2024, so this would be planning for the future. Mainly, we'd like to prioritize trying to do over the next maybe couple years, like the free-for-all summer events in the parks. So that's like the movie or concert. It's through the Parks Department. The applications for those are in January, and the events themselves happen over the summer. But our contribution would be a minimum of $1,000 for each one of those events. So that would allow us to try to pursue at least one. And anything else? I think that might be it for me.
Yeah, a lot. I think just want to highlight that, you know, the neighborhood association has gone from kind of staying afloat 4 years ago, and Sweeney, you know, taking their own path, or taking our own path from Sweeney to, you know, a whole list of events and services that we are providing to the community. So I just wanted to highlight that. Another good reason to donate to us. Bill, did you have a question?
Yeah, do we have access to all of this information that was presented?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I'm still sharing. So on our website, which has a whole host of information about other organizations' events that are happening in the neighborhood, but under our current meeting, our meeting folder, there is meeting materials that are open to the public, and we have all of our committee reports here, the garage sale day flyer, the financial reports. I'll go ahead and drop this in chat so it's easy to access, but the materials are always posted a goal within a week before the meetings, that the general meetings.
And for anybody who's interested, there is a little bit more detail in our report. You're welcome to take a look if you'd like.
We also have a pretty good events page that has all of our stewardship events, the garage sale day, Multnomah Days parade registration, just anything that we get from other organizations that's happening. Pam takes the time and adds it to our calendar. And so we've tried to make the M&A website a pretty good hub for things that are happening in the community that are outside of what the M&A actually hosts. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and hopefully we still have time for other reports. If anybody has any questions, you can reach out to community events. Pam is really, really prompt at responding to communication. She's our communication expert, so thank you.
You know, I'm so pleasing to see that calendar full of events that we are doing. Don't forget Dumpster Days coming up. And speaking of Dumpster Days, Livability Subcommittee Chair Julie Lee, you're up.
That's the weirdest intro I've ever heard. So thank you very much. We are putting on 2 Dumpster Day events. The very first one is 2 weeks away. It is specific to Stevens Creek Crossing, a low-income community near MJCC. And we have Wells High School football team volunteering with it. And we have Restore from Habitat Humanity. Thank you, Patrick. We have a scrap metal vendor, and we have the communications for the residents in multiple languages on what they can and can't bring. So we'll be helping that community. And then it's really a preparing for the big one. We are having 80 cubic feet of availability of dumpsters on the 24th of August, and we'll be communicating that out to the public very shortly. The event is free. It's at Multnomah Presbyterian Church off of 45th. We're going to need a lot of volunteers, and I'm going to be starting to identify roles. And it's, the investment time is a total of 3.5 hours on a Saturday. So it won't be too much work when there's a bunch of us, and it should be a good time. I'm gonna have music and snacks and stuff like that. So we're super excited. If we do this right, we get to do it every year and see it grow. We have other things going on that I can't really think of because the other thing that the Livability Subcommittee is doing is assisting with the safety of the parade itself. So I need more volunteers to stand front row for the parade for the 45 minutes that it is going on, and hopefully a little bit longer. We'll be wearing vests and helping, lost kids find their moms, and making sure kids don't run in front of a person walking when candy's thrown and things like that. So a pretty fun time for anybody who wants front row access to the parade. And we are going to be helping with that recycling so that we can finally have a sustainability lessen our footprint when it comes to the trash for that. We'll be doing other stuff once these two, once the dumpster day activity are complete. But if anybody's bored, please, please, please reach out to me because I can keep you happy and busy.
I'm going to put Julie's email contact in chat, so it's easy to access for folks that want to get in touch with her.
Thank you. That dumpster day, I'm so looking forward to that. I mean, we've been, yeah, well done. Okay. Okay, next up then, we have on the agenda after Livability, District 4 Coalition. Beth.
Hi, well, can you hear me? Yes. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Beth.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Well, as of July 1st, there is a District 4 coalition. They hope to have their new website set up by the end of July. I am sending them nobody will be surprised here, sending them another email today recommending that they follow WCAG guidelines so that the website will be accessible. The NWNW website is not, so we're hoping that they will start from scratch. Let's see, what else? We are each responsible for our own websites, the NAs. We don't know how much funding they will be giving to each neighborhood association. I think some of that's going to depend on how much money they get at the next budget allocation from the city. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, I'm attending all their meetings that I'm allowed to be at, and they'll be meeting from now on once a month. So I don't think we're exactly sure when, but I hope to be there. And I'm working with them on the and Will is going to be working on that as well, although Darlene doesn't know that yet. We're both going to be working on revising their, oh God, I lost my train of thought. Will, you know.
The equity statement.
No, it's not an equity statement. It's their whole entire social equity toolkit.
Ah, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, there's a ton of work to be done on that. So Darlene and I talked a few months ago, and it's on her agenda, but we're not up yet. We're still, I guess they say, in the hole, if we're talking baseball. We're not at bat yet. So those are the things we'll be working on with District 4 and forming a relationship with them, continuing to do that.
Fantastic. Looks like, Lisa, do you have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I had to come to the meeting late. I apologize, but you're talking about District 4 coalition, and can I assume that that is all the neighborhood associations in District 4 that are collaborating leading up to the change of city council? What is the District 4 coalition? I'm not clear on that.
Yes, it's all the neighborhood associations that are on the southwest side and one that's on southeast side. So yes,
Totally.
all part, but I don't think they all have officially joined, and I'm not exactly sure if we have officially joined. Although I am the rep to them, I think they're going to be sending out more information on how to join, who's joining, who is considered part of, like, being able to run for their executive board, which at the moment we're not. They had tried to pass a resolution that I think failed at the last meeting, saying that anybody who is not part of the current Northwest can't serve on the executive board until November. So we'll see how that shakes out.
And it's a purpose of the coalition to have a direct line to the 4 commissioners. I mean, what is the purpose of these different neighborhood associations coming together as such?
Well, the city actually did that to all of us. Nobody much had a choice in it. When they decided to divide the city up into 4 districts, they also divided put each neighborhood association in a particular district. And then they put us all under Neighbors Northwest. I always want to call it North by Northwest. Neighbors Northwest, which that's, I think, 11 neighborhood associations that have already been part of that coalition. So the city I don't know how that happened. I wasn't there at the time to find out how the decision was made to make Northwest the entity that's going to be in charge of us. But that's how it is. I hope that answered your question.
Well, the District 4 coalition, the purpose of it is to have the citizenry have a group to go to. I'm just trying to understand.
Yes.
If I may clarify just one.
I can send you a link to, if you want, or can you post a link, somebody who can put it in the chat, to the city. There's a city link to what is neighborhood association and district coalitions that explains it all quite well.
I'll put it in. I put a link to Neighbors West Northwest in the chat, but I will also put the city link in as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, they're going to be sending, one more thing, they're going to be sending out in the next month, they're going to be sending out rights and responsibilities. So what they're going to be, what District 4 is going to be responsible for, and then what our responsibilities are going to be to District 4. So we'll see what they come up with on that.
Just to comment on, Lisa, I'm glad you asked, because I personally have just been kind of following this along, but I also have the same questions as you do, as what's happening, why are we doing this? Can somebody give us an update, and what are the benefits to the M&A and then the individual citizens in the community to being part of this district coalition? So I'm glad that you brought it up. I think it's a good question, Lisa.
Yeah. If I may make one.
I'm sorry, Beth. That question is all of our questions, all of us, at least from Sweeney, this formerly Sweeney Neighborhood Associations, we are all wondering, why are we in this and what are we supposed to get out of it? So far, we know that they have paid for our liability and directors and officers insurance. So that's one benefit we have received from them. I don't know how much financially that's worth, but there is, people have a lot of questions about this, and I agree. I have the same questions, which is one of the reasons I wanted to be the rep from our association.
Yeah. Good questions, good answers. One thing I do want to make, just clarify the role of this District 4 coalition. It's basically taking the place of Sweeney, Southwest Neighbors. And we have been without Southwest Neighbors Incorporated. Sweeney had been providing financial and technical support to the neighborhood associations out here that may not be as financially stable as some of them, as others. The biggest challenge is that they are now absorbing, they once represented 15 neighborhoods all on the northwest side of Portland. Now they're tasked by the city to represent 33 neighborhoods in all the neighborhoods in the west side, including in Southwest and Selwood and Eastmoreland neighborhoods. So are they going to be as nimble as as Sweeney was when it comes to providing support, or, financially stable enough or able to help us? Probably not at least this first year. They really underfunded them dramatically. So it'll be interesting to see where this all pulls out. But I just compare this to Sweeney, an extension of the Sweeney concept of how those organizations are funded by the city and then in turn to support the neighborhood associations in doing our things. Now, we're lucky out here in the Multnomah Neighborhood Association. We haven't needed the support of Sweeney or of a coalition partner as bad as, say, something, but a neighborhood like South Portland, where they don't have as many active members and such. So anywho, moving on. Thank you, Beth.
Moses.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Can I just add something to the conversation just briefly? Number one, historically, neighbors west and northwest has been pretty dominated by the northwest neighbors and neighborhoods. And I think this is kind of I don't want this to be seen as an add-on to that. And we're sort of like the weak sister in this organization. So number one is we're going to need to be advocates for the neighborhood so that we don't get lost in the shuffle. And second of all, whatever the intent of this organization is, I think we need to be proactive in making it a conduit to the new commissioners and the city manager. And I could be wrong, but I think this sits under the city manager. So it should be actively used as a conduit to the city, whether they say that's what it's for or not.
Well, no, I have to agree with you 110%. Sweeney advocated.
I agree with you as well. And we are some of us, we are having kind of back channel conversations with formerly Sweeney NAs. So we are working on how we're going to be advocating, like not to get lost, because we were formerly Sweeney, which was not even recognized by the city. So we have a lot of work to do to make ourselves heard, recognized, heard, and cared about.
Amen. All right. Good stuff. Thank you. That to be continued, certainly. Okay, next up I have equity. The equity committee. That's you, Will.
Well, we were talking about equity, fair play to the different parts of the neighborhood. I won't take a lot of this time now. As you know, we had a motion, which I said we withdrew, to work on a land acknowledgement for the indigenous people in the area. And what that represents is one statement in building relationships with a lot of different people. And what I've been doing in the past equity reports is getting a background of how we have an attitude that will work. Last week, we talked about being understood and understanding. We talked about the importance of people's feelings and the recognition that everybody has liberation as a goal in the area. I want to introduce one other concept, which is kind of hard to relate to equity, but it's very important to put your mind or yourself ready to really do those things and really treat people well, particularly who have been treated badly. And that's a concept I'm calling suspending judgment. Now, when we hear something, we judge real quick. Oh, that sucks, or that's great, or whatever like that. And this isn't saying don't judge. It's saying hold it up. Well, I think I got a problem here. I think that bear's coming after me. But let me just wait a while, see what's happening, suspend my judgment before I rush in there, which gives me the emotional and mental space to listen to other people and to work on it. So suspending judgment is a prerequisite to being ready for equity. Now, I will hold that at that point. We will go further into equity. Anybody, I want to put a pitch in. If anybody wants to get involved in the equity committee, I'd be glad to have people there because we're dealing with some pretty strongly seminal things to do, but it doesn't have the specificity sometimes of events, but it is a very important thing. And right now, if you've been following the political situation, the social situation, fair play, openness, and welcoming and safety of that sort are really at risk right now. So I will hold on that report. I do have a written report. Go on the website and take a look.
Awesome. Thank you, Will. Appreciate that. Next up would be our Finance Committee, but Peter gave his report already. So I can skip that. Next up is the Governance Committee. Tad, are you with us, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, very good.
The Governance Committee has been meeting regularly. This is the same report as last month, and developing motions to put in our procedures manual for the sake of productive meetings. And I have a motion under new business.
Very good. We'll be addressing that very soon. Thank you. Let's see. Next up, land use. Beth.
Hi. I don't have a lot of new things to report, and I put it, what I did have to report in the, sent it as a written report. So that could be found in the meeting folder, I assume. We have decided that we're going to meet in person every second Tuesday of the month. Thursday, every second Thursday of the month. Although this month we decided that we're going to be working just via email, since we're going to be creating a document, a letter to be sent to the city that we hope you will sign, Moses. This is regarding the 27th and Nevada Water Tower.
Fantastic.
Also, we're going to be, I've been in contact again with Nasser from Stevens Creek Crossing. I'm sorry, it's hot in my office, and so I'm a little thrown off here today. And we're going to be collaborating on them with the garden at Stevens Creek Crossing, which will be done under the Land Use Committee. So we are in ongoing conversations with him about that, and not ready yet to ask for volunteers, but soon we will be. We intend to meet in August, even though M&A won't be meeting.
Okay,
I think
great.
that's the report at the moment.
Thank you.
If any one of my committee members would like to say something, I know some of them are here. We have 4 people on our committee already, which that's exciting.
Okay. Here, wait a second. Just a minute. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, this is Mia, Beth. I can share one other little piece of information. We do know that the water tank lot on Nevada Court will be brought to City Council's meeting on August 14th for a first hearing, at which time they will decide whether or not to sell the property and in what way the property can be used if sold. And then they'll have a second hearing on August 21st. And we got that information from Tom Klutz at the Water Department. So that's it.
So, and also to report that Minkus Maps fired the head of the Water Department as his last act before turning over that department to Mayor Wheeler.
I do have a question.
We don't know why. Nobody has said why yet.
Yeah. Is that open for public comment, that first reading? I wonder.
I would think they're going to be able to, can't they speak at meetings?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe we should think about getting a contingency down there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
And
well,
sending in letters would be great as well.
At the absolute minimum, we should send a letter over to them.
Yeah.
In support.
We can. We'll check on that. Our committee will discuss that and brainstorm on it during the week this week.
Okay, sounds good. As long as we do it before that meeting, that
Oh, that's-
first reading of the bill, I think we'd want
Yeah,
to.
we have a bit of that, so we have a month before that.
Oh, okay, sounds good. All right, good. Okay, next up, the CAC, the MSRV CAC, the Multnomah Safe Rest Village Community Advisory Committee.
Right.
I
And-
want to, and I'm gonna pass it to Will, and I know others would like to speak as well.
Sure thing. Well, let me do a couple of things. First of all, let me clarify just what the CAC is, the Community Advisory Committee, because it's a group of everyone with a stake in the Multnomah Safe Rest Village, but they run into basically three groups. There are people from the government, primarily the city government, and the Shelter Services Department especially. There are the operator of it, which was All Good Northwest and is now Sunstone Way. And finally, people from the community. And people from the community are in two groups. There are a couple of people from West Hills Christian School, which is right next to the SRV. And there's 4 people from us, Multnomah Neighborhood. We have a website called, web page called CAC webpage. If you haven't been to it, take a look. That goes into more. But we have our 4 reps. 3 of the 4 reps are here tonight. 2 of them come live close to the SRV, one right across the street. That's Lisa Carney Fenton and Mark Booth. Where'd he go? Is he still here? Yes, Mark Booth. And then the one person of the 2 who are living in the not so much so close is Pamela Norris York and Mary Knox. Pamela is here. So Pamela, Mark, or Lisa, would any of you like to say a few words about this, your feeling on your ideas on the CAC?
Let me, a real quick correction, it's Paloma Norris York.
Oh, Paloma, excuse me, Paloma.
Very good. So, hey, let's do some quick introductions. Paloma, seeing I just called you out, how about please introduce yourself, and then I'll go down to Lisa and then go to Mark.
Hi, I'm Paloma. I live on the backside of Custer Park, half a mile away, and I've lived in Multnomah area. Well, I grew up in the area and then moved away and moved back in 1993. Raised 4 kids here, have had a couple basically homeless families move into our own house. And my job involves working with homeless folks who are trying to get housed and also working with caseworkers. So I kind of have some different angles on it, and I'm excited to kind of get started and see what happens.
Great.
Lisa?
Hi, I'm Lisa. I born and raised in Southwest Portland. I grew up near my grandparents' farm, which is up near Jackson Middle School, and I moved to the village about 35 years ago. We've been in the same house. My experience with all of this is my dad was a developer in Southwest Portland. He built the first condos in Portland, had many battles with Amanda Fritz, him on one side, her on the other. So I have a very interesting perspective for politics from being the daughter of a land developer in Southwest Portland. I presently live directly across the street from the SRV, so I have another perspective on that. And I'm hoping to bring some different perspective to the CAC.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark.
Sure. My name's Mark. I lived in the Multnomah Village area 40 years, in this present house 24 years. We're about 2 blocks away from the SRV. And I think I'll just leave it there for right now. Anxious to get going, really.
Okay, great. We just learned, as a matter of fact, that the full CAC is not going to be meeting until September. So we will be getting together the 4 people who are Multnomah's reps to talk about what's happening, what next steps should be, and flesh out the details, so we don't have to wait till September to get moving. But more about that as we get along.
I'm glad you pointed that out, Will. I was gonna thank Mark for making the comments on the email thread saying that we should meet sooner than September. I kind of agree with Mark. So yes, we're onboarding it. We've onboarded everybody into the CAC, and Will is the board representative, kind of helping to facilitate all of this. So thank you. Okay, next up. Okay, public safety is open. Transportation, Stephen McLander. Stefan, are you here? No, he's not. Darn it. Oh boy, I can't really speak for Stefan. I will report that I went to that Alpenrose community forum in regards to the development out there at Alpenrose on the Alpenrose property. And there were representatives from Washington County, from the city of Portland, from PBOT, from ODOT.
Wow.
It was kind of an impressive mix of folks that were there, but it kind of goes to reflect the challenge of this particular property because the backside of it borders Washington County. And so and the traffic is going to be impacting Washington County and Beaverton. And then you have the city of Portland and the impact it's going to have on Portland. So, you know what happens when you try to get three governments into a room, you don't, and it's a challenge. And I think the biggest takeaway I got from that forum was the need for all of these governments to be communicating with each other to make sure that there's some coordination on this planned growth. I mean, it's just, everybody goes the Six Corners there on Boone's Ferry and Olison. Yeah. Oh, that's just, they were talking about that and how much impact the Alpenrose will have on that alone, let alone just Shattuck Road is a 2-lane road and they're going to have 600 homes there or some obscene amount. So more to come on that. Let's see here. So that was a transportation. Okay, fine. Oh, good. We're at new business. Okay. We only have the one motion here for new business because the motion from the Equity Committee has been withdrawn to reestablish it. The motion from the Governance Committee in regards to board member expectations. Before we get into the motion, I just want to make sure that I have my quorum here of board members. So Will, let's do a quick count here. I have Julie Leet in person here and myself. And then online we have Will, Tad, Peter, Corinne, and Beth. 1, 2, 3.
And Pam.
And Pam.
5 online, 6 counting me, 7 counting Julie. Okay, are you catching the? Okay, Julie's got it. Okay, so we have a total of 7 board members here, and we do have a quorum. Have all the board members had a chance to take a look at the motion that we're discussing here? And if so, do you have any questions as far as the motion itself? Hearing no questions and in turn debate on the motion in front of us, I would like to just call a vote and see to adopt the motion. So from the board members that are here, all in favor of passing the motion as from the Governance Committee, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. In opposition, are there any noes to pass this motion? Hearing none, I think we
Peter
can.
has his hand up.
Oh,
took it down.
Yeah, he took it down to signify his vote. All right, that has been passed unanimously, and we will start to apply those board member expectations in the future when we have new board members come on board. So Tad, when you become a board member again, we'll be sending you some of the expectations that we have for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Weren't we
Thank-
supposed, can
Forward
you
to that.
explain that is going to happen? I thought we had a motion to elect Tad or appoint Tad.
Am I
Wasn't there a
correct?
motion to be sent out by the, no, I sent out that motion. I sent that motion to you, Moses.
Okay, so what we need to do then, so we have a motion from the floor under new business. We have a motion to elect Tad Davis as a board member to the M&A board. We have a total of seven people, so we have a quorum. Is there any discussion on this new motion to appoint Tad Davis as a board member?
This is Julie. My question is, when can you start?
Months ago.
Yeah, he never left,
Moses-
really.
Agreed. Is
Check
there
your
any?
emails. Sent that to you the day of our last governance committee meeting.
Oh, very good. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we're right in the middle of the vote. So,
Hold on, I've got a couple of questions. First of all, Ted, are you, if elected, were you willing to serve? Ted?
Tad?
Yes.
Very good. And do you have any thoughts about, given about the duties of a board member and so on? How would you implement those if yourself?
Already doing that as the chair of the governance committee
Uh-huh.
and serving as necessary as parliamentarian.
Great. All right, those are my questions. Thank you very much.
He helped write those. He helped write those rules.
I
Okay, very
understand that.
Here, so let's please finish with the vote. Here, all those in favor of appointing Tad Davis to the board of the M&A board, all in favor, say aye.
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 All against, say nay. Hearing none, the motion is passed unanimously.
Very good.
Tad, welcome to the board of the Multnomah.
Hey, oh, that's great
Thank you very
news.
much.
All right, that is very good news, Tad.
Great
Tad,
to have you back, Ted.
great to have you back. No kidding. All right, so we have in the it is 8:40. I'm only 10 minutes behind. So, and in that 10 I've noticed that it's cooled down tremendously outside. So it's not as bad as it was, as stifling as it was. Our next meeting is not until September 10th. We're taking August off. So if issues come up, you need to talk, you can always send me an email. We'll get it addressed. Now, having said that, we don't have anything going on until September. We have a lot going on before September 10th. So we'll be sending out emails and reminding you and bugging you to volunteer, and let's have some fun this summer, especially at Multnomah Days. Yours truly will be one of the announcers on the parade again, which is pleasing to me. I cannot wait to do that again. And and I also want to call out Julie and that idea of picking up the cans, us getting the cans. That was inspired. I don't know how you thought of that. Wow. That's going to bring us in money from that event. So that's very cool.
It's brilliant.
So-
Thank you
Yeah.
for everything you do for keeping us clean.
Keeping us clean. No kidding. All right, folks. Hey, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Seconded. So moved. Julie beat you
Second.
to the punch, Peter. Okay, we'll see you all September 10th officially, and we'll see you around the neighborhood for sure before then. Okay, thank you.